the new dating game and why mastering social dynamics is the key to survival in today's dating market. Look, have you ever wondered why dating in this day and age feels so much harder than it did just a couple of decades ago? You know, I keep hearing guys saying, yeah, but my parents and my grandparents, they had it easy. Why can't it be like that? Why do so many men feel invisible? Why do so many men feel frustrated or left behind, while a small percentage actually seem to have all the options? Look, the truth is that the dating market has changed dramatically since the late 90s and since the early 2000s. And if you don't understand the new rules and how to play by them, you risk being left behind in what's becoming a very brutal game of natural selection. Yeah, so in this training, I'm going to help you discover what's changed, why it matters, and how mastering evolutionary psychology and game will set you apart from the very passive masses, the gray mass of guys that don't take action. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a few of the key differences between the dating landscape in the past and today, and how certain shifts in society and our mentality have changed the way that men and women interact, and why most men are becoming increasingly passive and very invisible. Yeah, we're going to break down the evolutionary forces at play, and I'm going to explain the coming, I can say it, the natural selection cleanup. Yeah, that's what I predict. And I'm going to try and do my best to show you how developing social skills, communication skills can make you stand out. Yeah. So my name is Rink, or as they call me outside of Holland, Rick the Dutch guy, Rick Dutch. And I've spent years now studying the evolution of the dating market, the psychology of attraction. And I started with this, I think it was around 2005. And since 2009, I started helping men internationally to go from feeling lost and overlooked to becoming the kind of man who actually stands out a little and actually succeeds. Yeah, no matter how tough the competition. Yeah, so if you want to understand what's really happening and how to win in today's dating world, this training is for you. So I want to start off talking about, let's call him David. Yeah, David grew up in the late 90s. Yeah, when meeting women meant going out, talking, starting the interactions, talking face to face, taking real social risks. Now fast forward to today, David found himself lost in a world of dating apps. Yeah, he's been married for a while. He's now divorced. He's back on the dating market and he has no idea what to do. He's lost in a world of apps, of ghosting, endless swiping. And he noticed that women seemed way more selective today than back then. And men seem more passive. And it seems as if the rules of the game have changed. Now, after learning about evolutionary psychology and mastering game, because he's a mentee in our mentorship program, he learned to communicate differently. He learned to communicate with confidence. He learned to how to stand out from the crowd and what exactly it is that attracts a lady, in a way that most men will never be able to do. And if you ever felt like David, then this training will show you how to adapt and thrive in the current dating market. And I want to talk about 4 specific steps, yeah? I can do more, but I think these 4 will make it very clear for you. Because step 1 is to understand the dating market then and the dating market now. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, dating was completely different experience. Yeah, because most people met either through friends, at work, social settings, yeah, or clubs, yeah, dance clubs. People actually went out to dance back then. And approaching someone, approaching a lady required courage, yeah, required social skills, required the willingness to face rejection. And men were expected to take the initiative. And women just naturally responded to confidence, to charisma. Yeah, so the playing field seemed to be a little bit more level. Yeah, if you had the guts to put yourself out there, you actually had a real shot. Now, fast forward to today, yeah, the dating market is dominated by technology. Dating apps and social media have created a global marketplace where women receive endless attention and men have to compete for scraps. Yeah, that's what it seems like, right? I mean, the average woman now has way more options than ever before, while the average man is more likely to be ignored. And algorithms and filters and the illusion of infinite choice have made women way more selective. Yeah, women right now are way more selective, and men have become way more hesitant to take risks. So what is the result? Well, it's a small percentage of men get the most attention, while the majority, like, they fade into the background. Now, from an evolutionary perspective, an evolutionary psychology perspective, this shift has amplified natural selection. Because women are wired to seek the best possible mate, and now they can filter out the majority of men, with a swipe. And men who lack confidence, who lack social skills or the ability to stand out, they're simply invisible. Now, in the old days, of just being yourself, those days are over. Today you don't have to be super exceptional, but you have to be able to stand out a little if you want to get noticed. Yeah, so the modern dating market is a high stakes environment. If you, as a man, do not adapt, you literally risk being left behind, like a lot of men right now. But when you understand the new rules and actually develop the right skills, social skills, communication skills, a little bit of charisma, you can rise above the competition and become one of the very few men who actually stand out. Yeah, so how can you trigger success? Well, according to me, in my opinion, to thrive in today's dating market, you must develop the courage to take action and the skills to stand out. Yeah, so you have to be able to take action and you have to be able to stand out. And this means that you have to go beyond the passive swiping. Yeah, and that's the mindset that a lot of guys have right now. They have this really passive mindset. Yeah, when I have coaching calls with guys and they contact me and they ask me, look, man, why can't I get a girlfriend? Why can't I find a woman to start a solid relationship with? Why can't I get lucky? And I ask them, so what exactly is it that you're doing? 19 out of the 20 guys that I speak with speak about dating apps. They're swiping. That's like their only dating strategy. It's online. But now you have to go beyond the swiping. You're going to have to learn how to be social. Yeah, because if you cannot get matches on dating apps, or if your lifestyle doesn't exude enough high value status so that you can actually build an actual marketing page on, for an example, Instagram, you're going to be left behind. And the only way, yeah, for an example, like my Instagram is not, it's not a great marketing page. Yeah, I'm too old to actually score on dating apps. So I have to go out. I have to meet women. I have to approach. I have to communicate. I have to actually connect with women in real life, like we did before. That's what you're going to have to learn to do. Yeah, and so this means that you have to understand the psychology behind attraction and using it to your advantage. Because, look, when I see the complaints of guys underneath my TikTok videos or, in Facebook groups, there's a lot of frustration due to the lack of actual knowledge. Yeah, because online you can find a lot, and especially when you get lost in red pill, in red pill land, and there's a lot of shit that's been put out there. Yeah, a lot of great sounding but non-serving shit that's been put out there. And a lot of guys believe in this shit, and they think they need to be a part of the 20% or the top 20% or the top 10% to actually make, to be able to date. But that's only when you are on dating apps. If you want to actually do what we have been doing for thousands of generations, which is meeting each other and attracting each other in real life, you're going to have to get rid of the apps and start getting out there. Yeah, there's no other way. I know that there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of dating gurus talking about how to improve your dating profile or use Instagram. But fuck that shit. You don't want to be a part of something that only works for the top 10%. So you're going to have to do something that most guys are not willing to do, and that's go beyond the swiping, go beyond the comfort zone of staying behind your phone screen and actually getting yourself out there and meeting the women. Yeah, you're going to have to start by putting yourself out there in situations where you can actually meet women. And you don't have to go to clubs. Yeah, you don't have to go into the nightlife. There's run clubs. There's daily workshops. There's coffee meets and coffee meetings. Like things in daytimes. There's a lot of things going on where some very creative people are putting events together where we can socialize again. Because a lot of people out there are understanding that we need to meet each other more. Yeah? So you're going to have to get out there. Put yourself into social situations where you can meet women face to face. Practice your social skills. Practice your communication skills. Learn to handle rejection. It's a very important part in your growth as a man. It's part of your upbringing. You need to learn how to deal with rejection. And becoming the kind of man who is comfortable in any environment, any social environment. Yeah, and the more you practice, the more you will separate yourself from the masses who will never take action. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is the feminization and the growing passivity of men. Because I see it happen everywhere. And I've been around doing this since the early 2000s. I've seen a very dramatic shift in the mindset of men. And one of the most dramatic changes in recent years is the passivity, the rise of passivity and the feminization of men. Modern society discourages traditional, or I would say not traditional. it's not traditional masculinity, yeah, because tradition according to who? Which group of men of people? I would say it's more conventional. Yeah, conventional masculinity traits like assertiveness, leadership, the drive to make things happen, yeah, to take risks, to go out there and conquer. But instead, like men today are taught to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to seek approval, to get in touch with their feminine side, whatever that means. Yeah, because masculinity is toxic. Just these things, yeah, avoiding conflict, becoming agreeable and seeking approval, it is the exact opposite of what you need as a younger guy to grow and to actually become life wise and understand, you know, the pressures that the universe can slam you in your face with. And I understand that these traits may be valued in some contexts, but they are disastrous overall, and they're very disastrous in the dating market for men. When you look at evolutionary psychology, it clearly explains why this is such a problem. Because for thousands and thousands of years, yeah, for thousands of generations, women have been attracted to men who display, who communicate emotional strength, confidence, yeah, like confidence, it's an emotional thing. The ability to lead, the ability to comfortably and successfully take risks, to what else? Emotional. The guys that were emotionally stable, the guys that could communicate. Hey, if shit happens, I'm going to stand in the way of shit. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to protect. Yeah, because all these traits signal genetic fitness and the ability to provide and protect. Yeah, and when men become passive or overly agreeable, it signals the complete opposite. It communicates weakness. It communicates low status. These are low status behaviors. These are traits that are deeply unattractive to women on a very deep subconscious level. It's a subconscious thing. They might tell you, I want you to be agreeable. I want you to, avoid conflict. I want you to seek my approval. I want you to be more in touch with your feminine side. I want you to be, what's that thing? I keep taking a shit on it. Emotional vulnerability. These are like coded in her DNA as very unattractive traits to have as a man. And we see it right now, yeah? Because the result is we have a generation of men who are afraid to take risks, who are afraid to initiate conversations, who are afraid of their own healthy desires. They wait for women to make the first move. They hope that being a nice guy will be enough. You know, believing that someday it will happen. But in reality, this passivity only makes them blend into the background. While a small minority of bold, confident men, the guys that you think are assholes, they get all the attention. Why? Because they get their asses out there. Because they are not afraid and they don't care. They don't give a shit about what society tries to sell them. Yeah, and women are wired to respond to exactly that masculine energy. And that's why women always seem to choose the assholes. It's because they are out there and you are not. I mean, if you're such a great guy, but you don't put yourself out there, how will they ever know? And when men fail to display this masculine traits. Women, even if they see you, they will lose interest and they will move on because it signals, it communicates weakness. And if you want to succeed in today's dating market, you must reclaim that edge, that manly edge. You have to learn to lead with confidence. You have to build up your character, social skills, communication skills, the ability to deal with rejection and with all the other challenges that come with dancing the dance with women on the dance floor, not on the sidelines watching the assholes dance with the women. You have to get yourself out there. You have to develop the skills, the character traits. So how can you trigger that energy that is rooted, like it's inside you. It's already inside you, but you have to break free from passivity. You have to embrace assertiveness. You have to take responsibility. You have to step outside of your very small comfort zone and increase it. Take responsibility for your own success, for your own life. And this means that you have to be initiating conversations, that you have to start flirting and learning how that works, that you have to go to a girl, try to speak, her turning her back because you send out the wrong energy, the unattractive energy, and you have to learn how to deal with that rejection. You have to be willing to take those social risks because there's a lot of growth in those social interactions. There is so much growth on so many levels. Emotional growth, psychological growth. So don't wait for permission from anyone. You have permission right now. Your father and grandfathers and everyone up there, they give you your permission. Don't let the bloodline end. Lead the interaction. Set the tone. Practice making decisions. Take the lead in social settings. Take the lead in group settings. Stand up for your opinion. Or don't be afraid to push away. Don't be afraid to flirt. Do it with a smile on your face. And the more you embody that energy, the better women will respond to you because they will start to notice. And look, confidence is attractive because it signals strength and it signals the ability to handle challenges. That's what you communicate when you walk into a social venue with a confident, maybe even a cocky smile on your face. There's no way around it. Point number 3. The coming of the natural selection cleanup. This is what I predict. This is how I see it. This is not based on science, but I'm actually quite good predicting these things. We are now entering an era of what can only be described as a natural selection cleanup. That's what I see happening right now. Because the dating market is more competitive than ever, and only the most adaptable, not the most attractive, but the most adaptable guys will survive and thrive. Women have more choice, so now they hold more power than at any point in history, and they are using it to filter out the losers, the men who don't meet their standards. They're swiping them away. So from an evolutionary perspective, this is natural selection in action. Women are unconsciously seeking the best possible genes and the best possible resources for their offspring. And you cannot blame them for it. Women, just like us men, we're programmed by Mother Nature, by evolution, by God. It doesn't matter what it is that you believe, but we have a set of, how do you call that? The internal programming. I forgot the English word. apologies, firmware. That's it. They come with their specific set of firmware, and so do we. They are hypergamous. We are hypogamous. They are hypergamous. They will always look for the best genes. It's not because they are either stupid or delusional. Yes, I know that there's a lot of delusional people. There's a lot of delusional women. There's a lot of delusional men. I've met a lot of them on both sides. Yeah, but let's take women as a whole. They are hypergamous. It's their natural state of being. They are seeking the best. They are seeking the best possible. And now in a world of abundance, they can actually afford to be a little bit more selective. Yeah? At least that's what they think. I see a lot of women passing 40 right now, and you know, they haven't mated, and even though they told themselves 10 years ago that they were doing fine by themselves, you know, my heart breaks. I have a lot of women around me, and some actually come crying. Yeah, I've missed my chance. You know, and that's natural selection. It doesn't only hurt us men, it also hurts them. Yeah, but it's for you. It's very. It's quite simple. The guys who fail to adapt, yeah, so who remain passive, who remain unskilled, who remain invisible, they will be simply left behind. Yeah, their bloodlines will fade into obscurity, into the darkness. And this cleanup is happening. It's happening, yeah, because studies show that a shrinking percentage of men are fathering the majority of children, while many men remain single and childless. And the gap between the winners and losers in the dating market is widening, and the stakes have never been higher. And if you want to be among the men who survive and thrive, you must become a little bit more exceptional than the rest. So this means, besides hitting the gym, you know, and becoming a little bit fitter, because now women, they actually want to see you being somewhat fit. Yes, you have to have your income streams going, but a big difference that you will make is if you start mastering the skills that actually set you apart, which is social intelligence, confidence, charisma skills, the ability to create an aura around you that makes you seem more interesting than the rest. So you must take action if that's what you want. If you want to be, if you want to jump out of the gray mass, you have to take action. Invest in your personal development. Learn the principles of evolutionary psychology. The books are out there. Yeah? Master the art of game. And it's not about manipulation. It's not about tricking a woman to go to bed with you. It's about understanding what you want as a man, yeah, what your emotions are trying to tell you. It's about understanding exactly the same on her side, yeah, what women truly want, and becoming the best version of yourself and actually understanding why. So focus on building real world social skills. Develop your confidence, your social confidence, not your confidence playing Xbox in the bedroom. And I keep hearing it. Yeah, a lot of guys tell me, yeah, but I just want my peace. Well, are you really finding peace in your bedroom alone? Or are you finding frustration and chaos in your mind? Because there's desires there that are not being met. And the more that you invest in yourself, the more you will stand out from the very passive mass, the masses of guys that are fading away. And then the better your chances will be to actually expand your bloodline. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about is why game and why social skills are the cause of a huge advantage. In today's dating market, understanding game, understanding the social and the communicational dynamics between men and women is going to help you like jump to a very large advantage. As I see it right now, as I understand it, and I've been doing this for a very long time, from my perspective, it's not about tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding the psychological triggers of attraction and learning how to communicate them naturally, authentically. Yeah, actually becoming that person, but really understanding it. Evolutionary psychology shows us that women are attracted to men who can display certain things, who can communicate certain things. What are those things? Value, status, confidence, social intelligence, among a few. Yeah, and these traits have been, they always have been important. Yeah, that's why women are looking for them right now. But in today's hyper-competitive market, I don't see any other way that, they are absolutely essential. Men who master game are able to stand out. They are able to start new social connections. They are able to build a social life. They are able to create real connections. And they are able to succeed where you right now are failing. And I understand that most men will never take action. They will not. They will stay passive. They will either hope for luck or wonder why nothing changes and be resentful and point their fingers towards women, but not doing anything themselves. Yeah? But the very few who actually invest in developing their social skills, their communication skills, learning game, building up charisma, they will rise above the crowd. They will become the men that women actually notice and they actually remember and actually choose. So if you want to expand your bloodline, if you want to, if you are like me, a guy that actually aspired to have a solid relationship with a loving lady that I could confidently say, you are the kind of person that my kids would want to have as a mother. Yeah, if you are like me, yeah, secure your legacy, then learning about this is no longer optional. In my opinion, it is a necessity because the world has changed. The rules that worked in 1985, with our parents, that doesn't work anymore. The rules that worked in the 50s or the 60s, 50s, or 40s with our grandparents, they don't work anymore. The world has changed. The mentality of both men and women have changed. And now only the adaptable, the guys that are able to adapt, they will survive. Because women have grabbed the goalposts and they put the goal in a different place. And you're still walking around with your ball looking for the goal. Well, it's over there. It's not over there. Yeah, so start studying the fundamentals of evolutionary psychology, the fundamentals of attraction. Learn what women are really looking for and practice communication, those traits in your daily interactions. Focus on building confidence, social confidence, like actual confidence. Develop a sense of humor. I actually spoke to a teacher a few weeks back, and he's a teacher. He is a teacher in a high school here in Holland, and he teaches, I think they're like between 14 and 16, 17-year-olds. And he literally said this: Rick, everything you're saying is true. I see it happening. I've seen the change. Right now, I cannot make a sarcastic joke. I cannot make a joke about politics. Like everything that in the past we could laugh our asses off. Right now, like it seems as if they have no sense of humor. They have no charisma. They don't know, like they don't know what being social means. So you're going to have to develop all of those skills. Learn how to start and lead conversations. Learn how to, instead of trying to pick up a girl, be social. Speak to people. Connect them. Be the connector. Seek out opportunities to practice. Join social groups. Attend social events. Become a yes man when it comes to social things. Challenge yourself to meet new people, because the more that you practice, the more natural it will become. And remember, every skill, as the social skills, can be learned and can be tweaked, can be updated. And every man has the potential to stand out if he's willing to put in the work. So I hope I made a strong point. Yeah, I hope that at least I made you think a little bit about what's going on and why it is as it is right now. Yeah, I could go on for days about this. But you have to understand that the dating market has changed dramatically since the late 90s, since the early 2000s. Yeah, today women are more selective, whether you like it or not, whether you agree or not, it is simply the case. And men are more passive. And it's very clear that the only most adaptable men will pass on their genes and will become fathers. And the rest will, well, you will have your peace. Yeah, but by understanding evolutionary psychology, by mastering game, you can actually set yourself apart from the masses and become one of the few men who actually truly stands out. And every day that you wait, the gap will just widen. Yeah, and you will get sucked into that swamp of comfort, and you will not do anything. You will do nothing, literally nothing. But the men who wake up and take action, you know, they will build the skills and they will build the confidence that they need to set them apart for life. Yeah, so don't let the fear of the unknown or your passivity keep you from the relationships that you actually desire. Yeah, and remember David, the guy that I talked about, one of our mentees. Once he learned to adapt, once he started to understand the game, he didn't master the game, he understood it. Yeah, he started taking action. Things changed for him. He actually became a man that women noticed. Yeah, he goes into social settings now. Women recognize him. They come over to speak to him. Why? Because he's social. He's open. He's more charismatic now. So he's naturally a more interesting option. He's now remembered. He's now noticed. He's actually a girl or a guy that girls want to meet. And you can do the same thing. So if you are ready to thrive, yeah, in this new dating market, if you want to start learning game and developing your social skills today, invest in yourself. Take action. Become the guy that stands out from the crowd. Yeah? It's very simple, man. The world has changed. The rules of attraction, though, remain the same. So master the skills, embrace your manly edge, and watch as new opportunities will start to open up for you. Yeah, the choice is yours. You either adapt and thrive, or you will be left behind. It is what it is. It's either one or the other. And brother, if you need help with this, if you want some feedback, if you want a kick up the butt, if you want to plug into a very social support system, we have an online community. We opened it last month, a month and a half ago. We started here in Holland. We are now expanding to other countries. We have guys from Sweden, the UK, Germany, India. Did I say the UK? The US, Brazil in the house. Yeah. So we're growing. We host weekly trainings. We host weekly Q&A sessions, networking, online networking events so that you can make friends with brothers from other countries. We're starting a really cool workshop weekly next week. And it's all free. We're bringing people together. We are already walking up that mountain, and you're more than welcome to join. The only thing that you have to do is send us a message on whatever social, through email or down below in the comments, community. That's all we need to see. Then we'll give you the link and you'll be able to knock on our door. Brother, with a lot of love, take action and do it now. I see you in the next video.